This is Catherine Cespedes, and you are listening to Yogini from the Block, where we talk about taking spiritual practices and spiritual principles off of the yoga mat and into our real lives. You can listen to this bi-weekly podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and anywhere that you catch your podcasts. Hello and welcome to episode 24. This is episode 24 of Yogini from the Block. This episode title is New Year, New Thought, New Life. Subtitled Setting Goals That Matter. Today I am here with my wonderful producer, John Vithan.
And good generic time of the day. In fact, as we're into it, good generic year. Because I'm sure they're going to be listening to you year after year after year.
And so it is. And that's a wrap, folks. So, I wanted to talk about resolution because it seems perfect for this time of year. January is typically where individuals, Americans, and most people around the world start creating resolutions. And so I wanted to do a little bit more digging into what this is. And I looked up the definition of resolution. And a definition I got was that a resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something, which makes sense. It's a New Year resolution. And then the origin is Latin from resolvere, which really means to loosen or release. And I thought that was very powerful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, to loosen those beliefs or whatever that is that no longer serve you and to release them. And in English, resolve, right? Mm. And furthermore, I wanted to know when this started. Like, I know my mom has done it. I know that a lot of members in my family have done it. And I kind of wanted to know where it started. And I thought when I started to look this up that it would go back maybe a couple hundred years. And what I discovered is that it actually goes further, way further back to 4,000 years ago with the ancient Babylonians. But what they were really doing was that they were creating a resolution or a promise to their gods to pay anything that they owed and to return anything that they borrowed. And that was the premise of it. That's basically what they did. And they did it in March when their new cropping season emerged. So that it all started at the same time. And then later on, it turned into January when we get a little bit more religious here, when the Catholic Church started to create this New Year ceremony. And so everyone would come and they would do a day of prayer, and it would turn into things, once again, to give to God or, promises to God. And so for the ancient Babylonians, what would happen is that if they did not complete their promise, that, bad things would happen. I don't know. And same thing with the Catholic Church. If you don't complete your promise to God, then again, God will be angry. Okay, this is just the premise. And fast forwarding to 2019, where we are now, I was looking at USA Today, and it says that 45% of Americans that make resolutions, only 8% follow through. And that made me wonder, what... the difference being that one is a promise or a resolution or a plan to self. Now, in the past, it was a promise to something bigger and something greater, right? So I don't have the statistics on how many Babylonians followed through with their promise to their gods, but I'm pretty sure that number was very high because not following through meant devastation for themselves and their family. Right? And now we're promising ourselves something different, and it's something much more materialistic for the most part. Losing weight or earning more money, whatever the case may be. A lot of New Year's resolutions is about weight gain and just the way we look in general. There's nothing wrong with that because it's all spirit. It's all good. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the 8% that follow through. What's the difference between the 8% that follow through and the entirety of the 45% that even made a resolution to begin with? And what I noticed, and what we were talking about earlier, John, is that there is an alignment with values, right? Because if we are creating a resolution that surrounds our values, what's important to us, what really matters to us, then we're more likely to follow through. As opposed to someone thinks that I need to lose weight, and so I'm going to lose weight for them. Now, the likelihood of me following through is very slim, no pun intended, because it's not about me. I don't think about that. That's you. That's your opinion, suggestion, recommendation for me in my life. But how much does that really align with my values? And then just to get a little bit deeper, because we did talk about this same exact thing about values and beliefs during prac yesterday. And we talked about what is a value. Like, what is it? What does it even mean? And there is no like clear definition because it changes. And I never considered this, but values change, and values change based on your belief. And how we create a resolution to stick with it, to really make it work for us, and to shift our lives, if that's what we're looking for, either career-wise, relationship-wise, or health-wise, it really needs to matter to us. And first off, like, what matters to you? What is your number one heart desire? Let's look at the broader picture of what that is. Because then from there, just the general knowing of what that is and being able to speak to ourselves, not based on what social media says, not based off of what celebrities look like, or what people that we see on the newspaper and the magazines, what they own or what they have, but really based on us and our hearts and what we are looking to create, not only in this year, but in this life. And I was sharing with John that I haven't created my resolution for 2019 yet. And at first I felt a little judgmental over myself, because I was like, my whole life is surrounded about making myself better, and I haven't even started. And I realized that I created a resolution in 2018 just to be freer, just to be free to travel more, and relationships, to really create stronger relationships and bonds with people.
And let me just say that takes time.
Mm-hmm. It does take time, so I can't just be like, all right, 2018, thanks, I got another one. I've been getting a little bit more specific on that. Which relationships?
Excellent.
Which relationships I wanna create a closer bond with? What does freedom mean to me? What does it look like to me? Traveling where? Like across the street to Utah? Like, what does that look like? Where am I trying to travel, and why am I trying to travel there? So just getting a little bit more specific on what that means has made it so that it shows me what my values are. So for me personally, and it could be completely different for you, for me, my number one value is God. So God first in everything. And then comes my family. And then comes my friends. And then comes work. So when it comes to making a decision, it's very easy for me. I think there was one day where Kevin had asked me to do something, and it interfered with something that I had to do with work. And in that moment, I just made a very clear decision. I was like, well, let me focus on that, and let me tell them that I can't do this right now. And by them, I mean my job, because my job is very important to me, but my family comes first. And what I am so amazed with is that I have landed in a space where it's very important for my boss to put family first. So I'm in alignment with the values that in this terms, right, that my boss has. And so it has been very easy for me to follow through with my resolutions, because I'm in alignment with my values, and the people I've surrounded myself seem to also be in the same alignment with me. So it's so much easier to follow through. It's so much easier. And then lastly, creating a vision board. So creating something that you can physically see when you wake up first thing in the morning, right before you go to bed, made it so that I could never forget. Like right before bed, I would be looking, you guys look at your wall, you do, right? So right before bed, just, that what's there, what you put up there. And before you close your eyes, those are the last images that you're seeing. And when you open your eyes in the morning, those are the first images that you're seeing. So before any worry, before the texting, before the emailing, before checking Instagram to see what happened to your followers, before any of that, you first have to open up your eyes. And the first thing that I would see was my vision board.
So are you saying that in 2 weeks you're going to show up for the podcast and show people on the Facebook live stream how to do a vision board?
No. No.
I did just throw that out.
Well, because right now I am actually waiting for Kevin to come cross country. So my full focus is getting my apartment ready for him to come. So and
Kevin's a part of family.
Yes.
And so that's number 2, not number 1.
Well, God is number 1. Mm-hmm.
Family is 2. Friends is 3. Work is 4.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so right now I am clearing it out, and what that means is that I have given away 2 32-gallon bags of clothes.
My gosh.
I know.
That's great.
I'm not even that big, so it makes no sense. Like, it's not like it's a lot of fabric. Like, where did this clothes come from? But it feels, at first I felt a little judgmental over myself because I thought, how could you accumulate so much clothes? Mm. How greedy. And then to say you have no clothes, even more greedy. But then I realized that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how I accumulated it. What does matter is that I am willing to let go of it. What does matter is that I am willing to create space not only for someone that I love, but also for myself. And so it definitely has been a very emotional journey, which is interesting to let go of things, physical things, how emotional that could be, because you are looking through of, when you bought them, who was around when you got them, and even who got them for you, things like that. And then seeing what sparks joy in you, totally Marie Kondoing this whole thing, because I think she's absolutely beautiful and wonderful, like as a spirit, like as her essence is just so beautiful. So that is why. And then we're creating our vision board together. So for me, doing these things, it's not a matter of getting it done as soon as the new year, but really getting it done when I feel like it's ready to come from me, because I have done it in the past and then I've done nothing with it. Like, I've created resolutions in the past, and because I was so excited, this is what we're gonna do, this is our plan. 1 year I created it, and then I did half of the list, but I did it by myself because my partner and I at the time we ended up not being together. So I was like, well, I gotta continue doing this. So and that was done during the excitement of it, the excitement of the new year and changing me. And I feel like it's not really about changing yourself. It's really about accepting yourself, because these are things that are already within us. Like, everything that we could ever want, anything that we could ever want to be is already, like, we're already tapped into that. It's just the moment that we are allowing ourselves to embody that.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually bringing it out to be seen.
Yes. And well, it depends on the actions, right? So the actions that you take so that it can be seen. So that's really what I have been working on. And I want you to know that whatever resolution that you've created this year, because you've created it early in the year or later, it doesn't really matter. I'm just sharing with you what I do and what I use, because this is what works for me. And then lastly, knowing that 2018, whatever happened, the good, the bad, the wonderful, the ugly, they were all so necessary and so powerful in the healing that we're doing as a whole, because I see so many more individuals that are seeking to express their higher self. And I think that is the most beautiful thing on the planet, to see it in so many other individuals. And who knows, maybe it's because I'm further than knee deep in all of this, like I live, breathe, and sleep this work. And because, and I'm kind of wondering, like, do I see more people doing it because this is all I do? Or am I seeing more people doing it because more people really are doing it? Doesn't matter which one it is. It's just nice to see other individuals that are truly looking to seek their full expression of spirit and allowing and surrendering so that they can express at their full capacity. So wherever we are in our New Year's resolution, there are so many spaces and places. I highly recommend that you do it in community. So because doing it with someone, it's powerful. Like it's reaffirming, and then there's accountability.
That's what I was going to say. Accountability is wonderful.
Yeah, it's accountability, because I remember when I created my New Year's resolution with my sister, we had our vision boards side by side, and I would look at hers, and then I would look at mine, and then whenever any holidays came about, I had already seen what her vision was so that I can add to what she was wanting for this year. And so that created a closer bond between us, seeing all the plays that she wanted to go to. And when an opportunity showed up for us to go see play together, I was like, yep, gotta go. We gotta do it together. We've gotta go make this a priority, because she's my sister, and this was something that I knew was gonna make her happy. So doing vision boards and resolution lists with community. I know that Seaside is doing one this Saturday.
Really?
Yep, this Saturday. Sharon Ray De Leon is leading it. She's one of our practitioners. And then Life Purpose Advisor. I know that they have 4. There's even like virtual ones happening. So there's
really?
another. There's virtual ones that are happening. There's ones that are happening in other centers. So finding a community that can help and assist you and set the space, the intention for the creation of it. And once again, just aligning with the values, aligning with who we are. Last year I said that I was going to lose weight and all these other things. And what's so funny is that it wasn't my main, thought in my head, but it kind of happened gradually. Little things started happening gradually where I was like, I'm not gonna drink this anymore. I'm not gonna drink juice anymore. So it was little steps, little tiny steps that really accumulated to big shifts in how I feel and how I function and my energy. And sleeping has really been a priority this year, is to make sure that I love myself and sleep enough, because I could go for days, and I think the difference is whether I can go for days in the same light that I started. And I think that's been very important for me. So in completing a New Year's resolution, I don't know how you really do that, honestly, but I think you continue it. But for all intents and purposes, in completing a resolution, just really making sure that it's in alignment with your values, who you are, and who you're looking to be, right? And finding out what your values are is quite important. So that it's easier to make decisions when those situations arise and come up. And accountability, finding individuals that would love to be a part of your journey, to love to be a part of your growth, and love to be a part of what you would like to create in this year. Because sometimes these individuals can also assist in making these things happen in our lives. And lastly, being very, very kind to ourselves, because there is no need to be mean. There is no need for the judgment. Just knowing that you are doing the absolute best that you can with what you have and who you are and what you're doing right now, knowing that every single step is a little closer to the individual that you are yearning to break through and be, because it's always in there. It's always a part of you. It's always been the mission. Now we are allowing the loosening of these beliefs and then the breakthrough of the power, of the magic, of the source that lives at all times and all places within us, in our heart. So I want you to know that wherever you are in your journey, you are wonderful and you are powerful. You are the love that source is, and in all times and all places, you are just blooming and radiant in your full expression. I am knowing that all questions come to my email, and I am looking forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.